What is up, gamers? Today I've got a spectacular, spooky, special edition of the Dingus McIngus Show for you today. It's the Spooktober special themed. I've said too many SPs. Whatever. Anyways, I'm extra scared today, not because the anime we're reviewing is particularly scary, but because I'm going against the grain here. See, I went to go watch the new Uzumaki show on HBO Max. It's based off of the manga by the phenomenal Junji Ito, one of the most beloved horror writers in the manga space of all time. And I watched this show, right? And I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed because I've read the manga, right? I'm something of an expert. And, you know, I watch it, I'm like, this is kind of mid. I go to Rotten Tomatoes, and lo and behold, this shit has pulled a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. So I'm going to talk about it, and before you guys go and roast my ass in the comments, listen to what I have to say, because I think it's going to hold some water. But yeah, I just don't think it's that great. So let's get into it. Uzumaki, the manga, is undoubtedly a masterpiece. And if you ever get the chance to read it, I highly recommend you do. You'll instantly see exactly what I'm talking about. It's basically the story of a town slowly descending into madness because of an event or some supernatural phenomenon involving spirals, right? It's a 20-chapter series, each chapter a little bit creepier than the last, and it features some of the most breathtaking, just disgusting artwork that really has an impact on me. I mean, I remember I was reading it late at night by myself, and it just wigged me the fuck out. But I couldn't stop reading it, right? For me, there are two types of horror that are really compelling. One is sort of the fast-paced jump scare slasher film style of horror where they just throw a bunch of scares at you left and right, a little bit gimmicky, right? And then there's sort of the slower, drawn-out horror that keeps you on the edge of your seat, something like Hereditary, something like Midsommar, where you're creeped out the entire time and you just can't really figure out why until, you know, the thing happens, right? I would put Uzumaki in the second category. It's very slow, it's very drawn out, and there's something just not right that you feel in every scene, regardless of if there's a creepy thing going on or not. It could be a perfectly normal interaction. Junji Ito's throwing something at you. The show, however, really misses this mark. I think they try to go for this slow, drawn-out feel, but they try to pack too much shit into too short of a time frame. The Uzumaki manga runs for about 20-ish chapters. Really, it's more like 30 or 40 because the chapters are about double the length of the normal manga chapter. And they're trying to squeeze that 20-chapter manga into 4 short episodes. To put this into perspective, a normal 40-chapter manga series would fit into a 12-episode anime run. That's pretty traditional, right? So in my mind, they're really cutting this shit down to about a third of the size it should be. And you can really feel this. Scenes where, you know, they have really big jump scares, really big sections of good artwork and horror are really squeezed short, and it takes the tension out of it. On top of this, each chapter in the manga features its own sort of self-contained segment that has I'd say it's a building block in the stepping stone of this community going into insanity, and they try to blend it all together. So instead of having impactful moment, impactful moment, impactful moment, you get a bunch of kind of weird, incoherent storylines and then a bunch of just creepy, weird shit at the end that's a little bit confusing. On top of the general pacing issues kind of messing up the creepy vibe, there's not a lot of tone set by other means. And this is a hot take. I'm really not a fan of the black and white color choice. And I get what they're trying to go for. They're trying to make it feel like the manga. It just doesn't quite work. Black and white can be really cool. If you've ever seen Robert Eager's The Lighthouse, you'll know how freaking cool black and white can be. Here it just doesn't really work because that's half of the flavor you can adjust whenever you're trying to make a show feel creepy, right? And I can't even believe I'm using this as an example here, but think about the anime Another. Another was a horror anime. People think of it as kind of mid. I actually made a video on it a while back. I'll link it down in the description below if you want to watch something that actually feels kind of creepy. But Another uses color really fucking well. Every scene that needs to feel bleak feels really bleak. You know, they go down to a basement, you see the dinge, you see the grunge. It just feels like soul-sucking and depressing. It's what you want for a horror show. There's basically no change at all in Uzumaki because it's all black and white. You can't really distinguish the peaks from the troughs, if you know what I'm saying. I feel like I'm doing the wave here with my hand. Anyways, yeah, just feels drier than white people chicken. Now, to be completely fair to the anime, it does do a pretty good job capturing the main story beats of the manga. It's a pretty faithful retelling, I would say. On top of that, the art does look pretty darn good. But if I'm being for real, if I wanted the art, if I wanted the story, I'm gonna fucking read the manga. I don't need to watch the anime. And I guess for me, I'm struggling to see why they would, try to make the anime if it's gonna be shittier in terms of actual creepy feel. It's gonna not have the right tone, and they're just gonna copy paste the art, copy paste the story. You're not really adding anything. And maybe that's why, you don't see a whole lot of really good horror adaptations. You just kind of don't see a lot of good horror anime. I'm gonna recommend a few here just in case you wanted to check out some horror anime to get in the spooky season. You got Another, I already mentioned that, I made a video on it. Kind of a good school story. You got Ghost Stories dub, make sure you watch it in the dub. It's pretty funny, not all that spooky, but it's entertaining. And then, surprisingly, A Promised Neverland is one of the better horror anime I've seen. At least the first season. I've heard the second season is pretty shit. But the first one has some pretty genuine jump scares, and if I say too much, I probably already said too much. I'm gonna give it away. Just go watch it if you want to. Yeah, that's pretty much it, But I want to hear it from you, because I said a whole bunch of shit about Uzumaki. I'm clearly fucking wrong. Looking at the Rotten Tomatoes score up there, they clearly seem to think it's the best thing since sliced bread. I don't know. Let me know what you think, and as always, subscribe if you want to see more of my cute face. And yeah, that's all I got. Thanks for watching. And to my fans, I want to say I'm working on something really big. I'm not going to say what it is yet, but it's probably the biggest project I've ever done. If I can actually pull it off, I've been doing a lot of research. I've lost some brain cells working on it, but I'm working on it. A little different than the anime stuff I've been doing, but yeah, really excited for it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you. Bye-bye.